अच्छा, हेलो। Hey, hello everyone.
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
Hey, hi guys. Nice to be here. I'm actually suffering from corona as well, but I'll try to give my full energy.
So we are glad that you are here. Too.
Yeah, so we are delighted to
It's
have you.
enough for us.
No, I'm happy to talk with the students as well. Share with me the link to the YouTube.
Yeah, sir, we'll ping you.
Share it in the Zoom.
Sir, we'll start shortly.
Okay.
Okay, so hello everyone. We welcome you all to the grand theme launch of Technex 2022. Before we get started, on the sad demise of the legendary singer of our country and Bharat Ratna awardee, Lata ji, we'll maintain a silence of 2 minutes. Good evening, everyone. I am Aditya Surana.
And I am Ritika Mishra.
And we welcome you all to the grand theme launch of Technex 2022. So before we get started, I would like to tell you all what Technex actually is. Technex is the annual Techno Management Fest of IIT BHU Varanasi. Every year, Technex astonishes thousands of people, including students from over 2,500 schools and colleges in India and institutions overseas. This fest hosts a variety of events that lay emphasis on both the creative and analytical faculties of your mind. Technex also provides a very good platform for engaging and interacting with the youth of the country. With the enthralling lectures, exhibitions, and technological spectacles, we showcase and organize a lot of things. It is one of the most promising technical events of this country. It witnesses one of the best gatherings of renowned technologists, entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, eminent personalities, and thousands of students and participants. Technex provides the perfect platform to showcase your technical and managerial acumen and transform your raw ideas into success stories. I would like to greet our counselor, Mr. Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay, sir. We are delighted to have you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah.
We also have Mr. Gokul Manoj with us, who is the convener of Technex 2022 and also the General Secretary of the Science and Technology Council, Mr. Dinesh Ishwaravaka.
Sir Rajesh Kumar, sir, would you like to say anything to address the students?
Yeah, sure. So first of all, I would like to welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Dharamveer Singh Chouhan, to finding the time to attend this event. Even I just came to know that he is still suffering from the COVID, haven't recovered till now. So I wish you a very speedy recovery and a very healthy endeavor. And with this, I would like to welcome all our viewers, students, faculty members, researchers, whoever is attending this event to this launch of Technex 2022, which is the 83rd editions of this Technex series. So Technex is one of the largest techno and managementical platform for IIT BHU, and we are finding all our effort to make it one of the India's biggest technical festival. And I hope soon it will achieve that path. Unfortunately, due to the current pandemic situation, we have to hold this event this year again online. But I hope that even in the online mode, this event will provide you all the platforms and knowledge being which is required to showcase your technical and management skills. So with this small brief introduction, I would welcome you again, and let's start the theme launch of the Technex 2022. And I wish all the success for this event and a great participation from all of you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind wishes, and thanks a lot. So today we have with us Mr. Dharamveer Singh Chouhan, who is an entrepreneur of the modern internet industry, the co-founder and CEO of Zostel, and also the co-founder of Zoworld. Sir is amongst the most well-known entrepreneurs who is best known for his business strategy and investor relationship management. He graduated from IIT BHU in 2012 and earned his master's in business administration degree from IIM Calcutta in 2014. He has been awarded the Most Promising Entrepreneur Award in 2021 from the Economic Times Summit 2021. Mr. Dharamveer Singh Chouhan, sir, has been regularly recognized as one of the most helpful entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. He has not only contributed to the startup ecosystem, but also contributed to IIT BHU by hiring and working with over 200 students to date. He envisions unlocking India's potential as the ultimate travel destination for passionate travel seekers across the world through Zostel. Sir, on behalf of our entire team, I welcome you to the grand theme launch of Technex 2022. We are really grateful to have you here, sir. Sir, you are on.
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you, Ritika, for the humble introduction and the warm words. And I'll take it forward from here. And would love to highlight the topic of the conversation once again. That is, I love the headline for my talk as well. So I did give it a lot of thought. Which was a modern internet industry, entrepreneur for the modern internet industry. And I would love to talk to, you all about that, why is it really important? And I think I'll try to keep as much pace as possible so that we can have a very informative session within an hour. And, so I remember my first year, second year, when I was in Technex and, participating in several puzzles. I used to love participating in puzzle events, and then gradually I realized that maybe to really fight on the edge, I went to the entrepreneurial path. I actually started my first company in second year itself. I got it registered as a private limited entity. It was called as Titans Gaming Studios. I made games on the internet platform. So I've been twinkling around how internet has been. And so what I would love to talk about today is that it's very essential. So first I'd love to start off with why is it really important to build on on internet, or really keeping it on your own side. So if we really look at how companies are formed, capitalism is today a fact how the world works. The money is the oil that keeps it functioning in various different forms. And I would like to highlight the fact that we were in fact ruled for almost 100 years by a British East India Company. So it was a first public company. Now is the time that we have startups doing IPOs in India, but one of the largest company, and through which the whole of Britain actually made a large amount of national wealth was British East India Company. And after the first war of independence, that we had, it was nationalized, and then came the whole idea. But we couldn't really, we can't even today comprehend the fact that we were basically ruled by a company. But that's the fact. And so the modern wealth, when we look at who are the real influencers who are controlling, let's say, large parts of a global GDP. So we must have a macro view because we are at IIT, because we are probably the best in India, who get the opportunity to really think beyond. So I would love for you all to remember your school days, wherever you came from, the kind of environment that you had, the kind of ambitions that people had around. And I'm sure, coming to IIT BHU, we had broadened our perspective a bit, to think beyond, to, organize events on the scale that you're doing. And what I would like to leave you today with is that, to think even grander. So if your dreams even till today are getting the best job that's possible after 4 years of study, I think that's not the best goal that we should aspire to. We know that Facebook was founded in second year in 2004. So we must aspire to use the 4 years that we have in college to really try to fight on understanding that there's nothing that we guys lack. There's nothing that we guys lack except the mindset, that we can really build, on the edge of technologies and, figure it out along the way. Sooner or later, whenever you do decide to join the entrepreneurship path, you realize that there's a lot of learning that goes all along the way. So the sooner you can start it, just like organizing this fest, etc. Once you try to go deeper, and it's never perfect. I'm sure it wasn't perfect. Since even I was talked to for the event, I think 3-4 days back. So so as things, so just decide what you want to do and go for it. So coming back, if you look at how nations have really built wealth, whichever are the richest nations today in the world, there are, and I would love to recommend, I'll also share my screen along, so that you guys can also feel that, how I largely work on an everyday basis. And, so if you just look at this book, it's called as Technological Revolutions and Financial Capital. What that really basically means is that, whenever there is a financial unlocking, let's say this is a market dynamic, that IPO itself is a method, public listing is a method to raise capital for whatever, you wish to push forward. And so what this book really talks about is that, it's largely an observation, it's largely a post book. But if you'll observe that, there are cycles of innovation that, let's say what Britain really did very well was in the early steam engine and, the coal revolution. So they were really good at it from a technological standpoint. And, therefore they were able to build, let's say great ships and travel around the world. So that was, what was getting funded. Those times the startup was British East India Company, which was getting funded. And even before that, there was Dutch East India Company, which therefore British East India Company was a startup that was trying to disrupt it. And post that, in 1820s, we had the railways, the railways innovation, and with the steam engine and things working out. And then again, Britain was at the edge of the technology at that standpoint as well. That really helped them. There was a bubble. There was such a large bubble in the sense that there were, even if there were 100 people in a town in United Kingdom, there would be railways, in the hopes that there would be future customers. Just like we do a lot of startups, we burn a lot of money in the hopes that tomorrow there will be a much more larger customer base. So you get rooms on discount, you get grocery in 10 minutes, so that in the future that you'll stick over there. So that was the same bubble that went through. And when a technology gets funded, it's in the then comes a 25-year round. So these all technologies largely used to take 50 years to dissipate throughout the world. And in 1870s, similarly other technology was there. And in 1920s we had the telephone, electricity. These were the technologies that were invented. And this was, and 1870s was the time also, automobile probably coming into the picture. Germany did well, Japan did well, or maybe it's the 1920s. And American obviously did very well over there. And 1970s was the time of silicon. And by this time, United States had largely taken a very large lead in terms of innovation. So there's this silicon revolution that's been going on. So when I really look at now, or where we are here over today, the next layer of innovations are on the technologies that are already been there. So if you look at where we are today, how internet is largely much younger than probably me. It's probably older than you guys. But 94 was the time when there was first browser. I'm 1990 born, so it's hardly been 28 years since I have seen internet. And the ideas of compounding work in such a fashion that if we try to extrapolate for the next 100 years, if you just try to have a macro view on the 21st century, it's going to be phenomenal. There's going to be an information age transition that's going to happen. And, just like, we were largely, humanity was for almost 100,000 years, almost 100,000 years, we were an agriculture-based society. And that really moved forward. Sorry, a hunter-based society. Then for 10,000 years, we were an agricultural-based society. And for the last 1,000 years, we have gradually transitioned from a feudal age, from windmills to an industrial age society. And what that basically means is the growth of change is also increasing. So we are probably going to transition in just 100 years to become an information age society. And therefore, just as an individual, there is a first time, there is each individual that understands how the world works is significantly more empowered than any individual has ever been. So if you really understand how the world is working, you can today, build on the frontiers of internet, raise as much capital as needed, build the teams and launch products, markets. It's never been, this easier. And therefore, it's very important to post-nuclear, we don't have largely territorial wars. The today's wars are, cyber warfare, along with, let's say, whatever different forms, advanced AI in the drone systems, etc. But because we don't have, territorial warfare, there is economy has largely moved to a digital space. So if today even China goes and captures California, which might have a large amount of GDP from Google, Amazon, or let's say Google, Microsoft, Snapchat, Facebook being there, it's very easy for them to just move out of there. So you can't really capture a lot of wealth just by territorially, capturing different things. So this is a post-nuclear phenomena that's prevalent today. And, so what that basically means is that, which are the largest companies that are controlling today's, global movement of GDP, or let's say income or profits. So today we are in a world in which we have $1 trillion companies. It is a reality that today there are companies that are $1 trillion. And if we compare, let's say, dollar becomes 100, 2 years down the line, the amount of money $1 trillion is a crore. So it's how many crores? It's not 1 crore, it's 2 crore, it's a crore. Large sums of capital that we are really talking about here. And so which are the $1 trillion companies today? There's Apple, there's Amazon, probably Facebook. I don't know after the recent fall it's been there or not. Google, and let's say Tesla, along with a couple of let's say Saudi Aramco, etc. But largely the companies that are very well positioned to keep compounding and move forward are all American today. And they're all, on the internet, trying to establish, how do they position themselves as internet evolves. And, if we really think about, where we as, privileged people who have the opportunity to study at IIT, what we can really do for our country is, fight these wars that are being, these capital wars that are, going to define the future of the whole world. So today, let's say if my parents wake up and they use WhatsApp, and then they probably use Facebook, and who is building them? Probably Indian engineers are building it. And they're seeing ads. Who is showing ads? Probably Indian companies are showing them ads, and the money is, whatever is generated is flowing back, to there. So in a modern way, if you try to look and understand post globalization, post internet connected world. This is the modern form of raw material import and buying finished goods from United Kingdom, and that's still fine if we can understand it, and if we can build the next Facebook that the world uses, it will be phenomenal. But there are very few companies who are very well positioned to build that sort of take that challenge to build $1 trillion company in next 2 to 3 years. So, we must understand that, how does a company become so large, let's say that it becomes $1 trillion or more than that, a large company. So we must understand that it is determined by markets, and so internet is probably the largest market today, and it probably keeps compounding. And purely from a technological standpoint, internet does connect us all. But then, if you're building on AI, it's probably a technology that will impact everywhere, over the coming years. So, it is probably a technology that if you build over there, maybe you can build something that's very large. If you're just trying to build, let's say, hostels in India, it's very difficult that the company will become that large, because you're constrained by the market that you are operating in. So if you win the personal computing war in the 80s, people even today want personal computing. I'm talking with you guys on my laptop, let's say it's Apple or Microsoft. These companies were established in 80s, so you got to win something and then let market do its own thing. If my mom today, shops on Amazon very casually, so now is the time that, she's on Amazon, but Amazon was built in 1994, right? And because now internet has reached to her, so the market has opened up for Amazon. Amazon has another customer with it. So you must understand that, where you are fighting, where you're trying to build your next project, how big it can be. And it's fine if you're building something smaller in stature, maybe a startup for Varanasi, maybe a startup for India, maybe a startup for UP. But you must understand, it's very important to understand, and how the world works, how we are building things. And so moving on from there, there's where my understanding is limited. If you guys do come across anything else, as this is something that can be a $1 trillion market, do let me know. My current understanding is that the opportunities for startups are in. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's in AI, ML, it's in AR, VR. Because AR, VR is once again something that's on the input-output level. So it really, allows you to build everything once again, reimagine the whole thing. So that's why Facebook is Meta, everything is Meta, right? And therefore, and the third frontier I really feel is Bitcoin and the innovation of cryptocurrencies. And I really feel that it's much more friendlier for startups, because it's very difficult for existing Web2 large companies, let's say Google, Facebook, or Google, Facebook, Microsoft, or the likes, to really pivot into being crypto first. It's very difficult. And when you have such a difficult challenge, is the only time when a startup can really enter a field. AI, ML, you're largely constrained by data training costs. It's very large to train anything. AR, VR, once again, large amount of innovation, hardware costs, etc. Very limited, unless you can do something, crack it in some ceramic research maybe. And cryptocurrencies is very open, and therefore that's where I'm largely building to take the my vision forward of where I started off. So now that's the brief background about where I love to talk about how it is very important, first of all, philosophically as well as logically, practically, where you want to really win, because anyway startups will fail, so if you do win, you want to make sure that you're building on the frontiers to win something big for yourself, for your community, for your country. And so just continuing on that aspect, where we are today building, taking the Zostel vision forward of just inspiring people to travel and explore the world. Always felt very closely that it's a natural step of evolution of any human. When we travel, we meet other people. Even coming to IIT, and unfortunately you guys are largely trapped, and you guys haven't really experienced Banaras that much maybe. But just being there, it's a sort of traveling away from your roots, and a great experience. And but hopefully, the world will be much more connected, especially for internet first workforce. If you are an internet first workforce, remote work is a reality today, and everyone's working from everywhere. So that's also nice. And so where we are coming from and trying to build is that we are trying to build a global travel community, and then we'll build an ecosystem over it. But we are largely trying to build a distributed global community, and we are trying to use NFTs for saying the first 11,000 founders who come together for this vision. And join us on our Discord, and I shared my Discord link earlier as well. I'll just share it in the Zoom chat. Maybe you guys can share it along. So the way to really build a just building on this ecosystem on the edge is that you really want to build a company that's very public and transparent. So this is how our whole company is today running. And I'm hopeful that obviously due to Corona, maybe you guys are locked, and you guys are trying to work it out, etc. But whatever are the positives out of it, please try to embrace the opportunity. And just because we are on internet and everybody is on the internet, maybe this can actually be the largest Technex that's ever happened.
Yes,
because
sir.
obviously there's a remote limitation for everybody to come to Banaras. And just after you have been sad about that not hosting a physical event, do your best to host the best possible virtual event. And just like that, I think, as I said earlier as well, that, this is how we have been building in public. This is our announcements. We keep doing a lot of announcements, how the company is building, what are our next steps, etc. So this is, and so there are around, let's say, 2000 plus members in the Discord right now. If you guys join, at least we'll have 100 more today. And so if you go to the roadmap, you can see what is our roadmap, how do we plan to build this out, what are we really talking about. And we have a very open ideas and suggestions. So if anybody feels that, hey, this might be a good thing for the travel ecosystem, this is how we might want to do. So that's very open. And we hire continuously, very publicly from the channels. Anybody who's hanging around in the Discord, they want to tell us anything, we're very open to hiring. And so the way that I'm not really sure, I would love to know, I'll open the YouTube as well. I'd love to know that, how many of you guys have bought any Bitcoin or any Ethereum, or let's say any cryptocurrency, for that matter.
Guys, you can respond in the chat box.
Yeah, you guys can respond in the YouTube chat box if any of you guys have.
Moreover, there are few communities in our college as well where we are promoting this.
Oh, really?
So it's quite good nowadays.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Groups, like clubs, so we have many WhatsApp groups for the same.
That's
yeah,
very
we actually have a small club related to cryptocurrency in our college.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's very nice to hear, and I think that really helps. That really helps in the sense that because you are in IIT, at least you have that sort of exposure that we can be dynamic. Because it's a student-run organization, we know that what's really happening, where we where we can. So there are at least some people who have got some sort of at least some sort of investment or exposure to Bitcoin. So that's nice to hear. So basically, Bitcoin is very primitive. I think if I just want to explain to those who don't really understand it any form, is that it's a computer that's running, and just like we used to have torrent and strong DC++, for our files that are stored in a decentralized system. I'm not really sure if you guys wouldn't have even seen strong DC. That's how our LAN used to work. But just like torrents have file system, Bitcoin is just a application that anybody of you can download. So you can just download this software from bitcoin.org, and it's a software that will run on your computer. So basically one computer, so basically, because it's just one computer, it's very difficult. That computer does just one thing. It's a database. What is the database? Database is just a ledger. So any software that we run, even if you go to Facebook, what's really happening is that there's a database behind it, which is just giving us all the different tables, say MySQL, वगैरह इस सब से, whatever data it wants to give us, right? So maybe my sister has posted something, so just data connected and coming to me. And so obviously technologies evolve, right? So Bitcoin came in 2009, and today we have come to that level in which anybody can make any sort of digital scarcity, on Ethereum and etc., different things. But and from then onwards, it's a new way, I would suggest, to raise capital. And that's why I talked about earlier Financial Revolutions, the book that I really talked about, is because whenever there are new methods to raise money, there will be new sorts of innovations that will come along. So if you really want to build on the frontiers, so if this is my Twitter, and please follow me on Twitter as well. I'll share
Absolutely,
my, some of you guys can share the link. And if you really want to build on the frontier, what you really need to do is just at least, get yourself in the noise of, what the hell is happening on, because while we are closed in our echo chambers of, let's say, whatever it is, let's say you are in your own community, your club, your gaming community, whatever community you are, sometimes you must go a step forward and explore around, what are the different things that are happening. And maybe there's something that really, sounds exciting to you. So just try to do it. So if you'll see, my whole, it's completely filled with JPEGs. There's not a real person. There's not a real DP in any of my Twitter profiles, right? And, so this is a project that's called as Encryptas. So I'll just, give you guys brief overview of how the NFTs world work as well. So this is a company called as OpenC, and they are super shitty. So if you want to build $1 billion, startup right off within a month, all you need to do is build a marketplace for NFTs. So this is OpenC, and today it's almost a $20 billion startup. And this is basically eBay of NFTs. So now that anybody can make NFTs, so then the question comes that, how do you really trade them, or, how do you really sell them, etc. Because NFTs are basically unlike Bitcoin or, other Ethereum, all Bitcoin is same. You can just give anybody a Bitcoin, you can get any other Bitcoin. NFTs are each unique. And so this is, if you visit me, at dvcoolster.eth, maybe OpenC.io.dvcoolster, you can see my profile. So it's on the blockchain, so it's very open. Anybody, this data doesn't belong to them. This data that they are fetching is from the Ethereum chain. So if any of you guys can even make the front end and make the queries work, it will be there. And just about my collection. So this is an app. The way these people are building their app, this Float ape that you are seeing over here, is that to access their app, so this is another just an NFT based managing platform. But the way they are doing it is, very soon, today they have an open beta, but to access their app, you need their NFT. So they are selling each of their NFT, which is kind of like a lifetime membership, to their app for 0.02 Ethereum. Okay. And so this is their app. So this is also showing my portfolio, that this is showing that I have a lot of AdamBomSquad NFTs. I have about a lot of CryptoFunk NFTs. I have a BFF friend request NFT. I have the Float app Gen 2. This is another app. I have a Superlative Society. This is another collection, that I have over here. This is another. So what this is an app. So basically, what the important aspect is, today you can make a web app, for the NFT community, and you can access limited. So the first time there was app stores, and I still remember in 2007, 2008, there was no concept as such of a individual building something and reaching out to millions of people. So you had to make your own website, and it was very difficult. And mobile was also not the friendly. So the app platform that used to have was Facebook.com. So Facebook was an app platform. So I also made games on the Facebook platform. You guys might have played Farmville, etc.
Yes.
So people were making money. Facebook was helping in the distribution, and it was a different manner for just two developers to come together, build something, and help others. So this is basically so Ethereum is an open financial network. So there's been an innovation. Now internet has made its own sort of money. And today it's a $2 trillion market. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the different coins that exist. And please understand that fifth class students will make their own tokens in the next 10 years. It will be a
Really
summer
interesting.
project. So there will be more tokens than there are human beings. And just like that, today Bitcoin is trying to work on the internet and different infrastructure, but in the future the way it will be is that everything else will be fractionalized. Our degrees will be possibly NFTs, and a lot of our access will be token gated. So, but if you really want to be there, the time to enter is right now, because it is not over there, to envision it, build it, and, handsomely capitally rewarded for it. While the world is now, catching up to Shark Tank and the startup scene, what is startup, how to raise funds, etc. I did those things 12 years ago. And, so it's great, it's great, there will be many more entrepreneurs from tier 2, tier 3 cities. But if I expect from my juniors, my fellow batchmates from IIT, is that we don't settle for less, and we try to explore the uncharted territories, which are super difficult, and but it's all on internet. And if you can nerd out and you can stay over here, if this excites you, the opportunity is probably endless. So this is a $2 trillion market cap. Hopefully in the next 20 years, it becomes a $200 trillion market cap. So that's where we have bet, and therefore what we are trying to do with ZoWorld is we are trying to build a decentralized operations protocol. And so what we want to do over the next 10 years is that help any individual offer any sort of services, be it hosting you in my home, just being your travel friend, being a guide, being a cab driver, whatever it is. And if we can have a sort of a marketplace that works and the incentives are there, theoretically, it says that if we are inspiring people to travel and we are rewarding early people who participate in the marketplace should theoretically explode. So let's see how the world goes. There'll be a lot of education along the way, because a lot of these things are still digital, and where we are trying to build is on the real layer, right? We are trying to do real life operations. So it's very difficult. Nobody has done it, but therefore, if we are able to solve it, it should be fun to do. And so I'll just come back. Where was I? So do join us in our Discord, and I'll just show you guys. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of our upcoming NFTs. So on 14th of Feb, we are launching our NFTs, and our NFTs signify, every aspect of how the travel ecosystem will shape up. So you can have any sort of data in it, and so we have 7 different data points, and I'll just show you guys. So one of them is destination, which is on the left hand side. If you will see on my screen, so we have 237 destinations. So we have divided the world into space. There's some fun destinations like space, Mars, but then there's India, United States, all the different countries that we have. So there's 237. So anybody who mints our NFT for 0.1 Ethereum, they can get any of the destination. We don't know what they'll get. They don't know what they'll get. But after they have minted, then it will become accessible to trade and exchange on OpenC, which is a marketplace. And I'll come back to that. And so, this is our destination. Then there's this weather is there. So whenever we do travel, we love to know about the current local situation, the weather, the other environment. So, it signifies that. And and then there's this season, October, that you're seeing over here on our NFT. And so, this is there, different months of the year. And then what you'll see over on the right hand side is a starship. This is a starship. This is a journey trait. So there are different journey traits. I'll show you guys that as well in a while. And then we have this gaming cult. So we are saying that humanity has made different cultures. We have various different cultures like fitness, technology, design. Gaming is also a culture. So that's there. And then we have a Z. This is our symbol. That we largely like to think of a symbol rather than a logo that anybody can draw it, and hopefully we'll see a lot of it around the world. So team keeps updating about different things, and I'll also show you guys a combined different NFTs together, so you'll get a sense. So these are all the different destinations on the left hand side, all the different weathers, all the different months, all the different journeys. So this is an alien ship. In the first one, there's some traveling over there. There's an aeroplane, there's a train, there's a bike, and there are different cultures over there. This one is traveling. This one is nature and wildlife. This one is literature, GK, and this one is food, and this one is design. Okay, and it might sound overwhelming to really grasp. I'm pretty sure if you're hearing it all for the first time. But the more we hear it, the more we learn it. So that's there. Drop by in our Discord, and we'll help you learn and navigate the Web3 challenges, because we do have the potential. Many times what we don't have is enough exposure to really grasp that we can build over there. But you all can. I want to tell you guys that. And you have the enough resources, time, and bandwidth, especially working remotely to really build that. So that's our NFTs. Our NFTs will be coming very soon. Best to join early. And this is another acrocalypsis. Somebody who has built great application. They are builders. So I have minted 20 of these, and this is something else. These are female oriented community, BFF. So I'll show you guys about them as well. So they are also learning over there. So this is my Discord. So if you'll see, I'm a part of 200 communities over here. And I'm learning how everyone else is trying to build and work, and then bring it to how we want to build. So these are a couple of individuals who have women centric, and earlier they weren't in NFTs, but they were in cryptocurrencies. So these are various different girls who have been women who have been active in different cryptocurrencies. They have come together and they want to help everyone understand cryptocurrency. So it's It's led by 50 plus women. So I do think that, it's a blue chip. It has a potential to grow very big. So it's kind of like investing in early stage startups, So once again, to really build large amount of wealth, you have to invest in things that will potentially grow to become very large, right? So we all know that if we had invested our pocket money in fifth standard into Bitcoin, which you guys got, you guys might have retired by now, right? But we didn't do it. And but it was an open internet. The best startup of the last 10 years, the two best startups of the last 10 years are Bitcoin and Ethereum. And because they're $1 trillion, right? There's no other startup that's grown to be that large. And they were very open, and they're very contrarian to how we think startups should be. Like Bitcoin has no developers, that's its USP. Not it has developers, but it has no founder. We don't know who really built it. And so those are the kind of challenges that if you really solve them, and we are very original in your thought, maybe you can build interesting things. So Zuckerberg's sisters, one of the founders. So they're saying that we are 50 women who have come together to build this. So so I'm a BFF as well with them. This NFT that I have over here, it signifies that aspect, and it probably trades for around 0.7 Ethereum right now. And if I go to BFF friend request, so this is like eBay, right? This is eBay, so a lot of people have it, but the cheapest one right now, if I select buy now, it's available for 0.7, and some people might have sold it a while back. So we can say 3 minutes ago, there's a lot of trading that's happening. Somebody just bought it for 0.75. So a lot of people are interested in buying this. So if I do want to sell it, I can sell it. I literally got it for free because I was one of their early supporters. And this is a Stoner Ape Club. I got probably mugged with them. I joined in the hype. They are doing some community around being stoned. And so this is somebody who is a derivative of the Bored Ape. Bored Ape is one of the OGs. They came in 30th April last year, 30th April 2021. Each of them minted for 0.08 Ethereum. And today, each of them trades for over 100 Ethereum, from 0.08 to 100, in less than an year. Okay, so these are the kind of things that kickstart a bubble. When you see somebody multiplying their money 10,000 times, it is unbelievable. And therefore, a lot of people jump in, a lot of scams do happen. But they are one of the OGs, and they sell for them. So people have copied them and somehow made some differences. So this is one of that project. This is one of my friends. This is another app. This is a digital art. So if you're very good in AI, okay. So this is one of Fidenza's. So Fidenza's by Tyler Hobbs. This is somebody who wrote the algorithm for generative art. And if anybody of you would like to work, on generative art, I would love to work with you guys. Please join our Discord and let me know. And so these minted, less than a year ago, Fidenza's, and these are kind of like the Mona Lisa of the AI world now in the future. And they trade very expensively, and they all have their own different traits. Some are more curvy, etc. But it's one of the first art that's been generated by machine itself on the Ethereum. So they're pretty fairly valued, and they're beautiful as well. So they are being traded a lot as well. And so this is basically NFTs are just tokens. Just like you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum and you have several more. These are just tokens with a JPEG in front, but it's at the end of the day just a token with limited supply. That's 10,000. Okay, so that's there, guys, and I'll just come back. So I do have a lot of NFTs. I've been in the space since last August. I've learned a lot, and now it's the time that we are launching our own. And so this is also. So I also have IIT BHU.eth. So if we can basically, if anybody wants to collab, and I want to give it to the college in the larger term, so Ethereum and everything, you have to install this extension called as Metamask. So if you transfer, and these all have very complicated addresses. So but we never had an identity on the internet. If you today join the internet, you are either known by, let's say I have my email address called as dbcoolstar@gmail.com, or Dharamveer 2014 at whatever 2008 Sarah at iitbhu.ac.in. So even if email is your identity, it's largely controlled by Google, unless you own the domain and you run your own email servers. And if not that, if it's your Facebook account or your Instagram account that you give to people to connect, it's controlled by Facebook. It's a Web2 company. So having your own identity directly on the internet, one of the largest, the people who are building it is called as ENS. It's called as Ethereum Name Service. And these are basically probably can be the domain of the future. So we can basically have, Sarah08.iitbhu.eth, like subdomains we have. So everybody can have their own wallets, inside the college, etc. And, so we have been on the edge. I have blogged IIT Bombay as well. And I have Tech CEO, I have Zostel, I have pretty interesting aspects. And then I have a lot of different projects. This is a fashion brand called as AdamBomSquad. It's built by somebody, who it's from an LA-based startup. You'll see a lot of these bombs if you follow me on Twitter around. But this is also, I'll just show you guys about them as well. So these are basically, and I'll probably end, the NFT exploration with this aspect. But there are 25,000 bombs, 9,000 owners, 18,000 Ethereum of traded volume. The cheapest one is right now available for 1 Ethereum. And I think I have bought 25 of them at an average price of 0.4. So once again, it's like kind of like investing in startups and in the teams that you believe in, can be interesting in the future. And it's very open. Today you have invested in Bitcoin, you can try and explore the more. It's riskier. It's way more riskier. It's illiquid. And 99% of these will fail, just like startups. So do your own research, tread waters carefully. But much more than investment, it's an opportunity to raise funds. It's an opportunity to build something of the future right there with the community. And trust me, if somebody gives you their money, then they're really invested, in whatever you're building. So they'll probably give you much more feedback in the community aspects. So let's see how all of these things turn out. And I think, it's been an interesting last 40 odd minutes. I'll open the floor for questions, and I wish you guys good luck. Yeah.
Thank you so much for such a great talk. And despite the fact that you are COVID positive, you are here, and this is so mesmerizing for us. And we got to learn a lot of things. So, sir, should we start with the Q&A round, or should we release the theme of Technex? It's with your permission.
No, we can. We can. I think we should have some Q&A, so that people can at least.
So,
and it's very. People can ask their very simple questions as well.
So we'll start with the Q&A round.
So participants, you can put your questions in the chat box. Sir, first question is that, sir, आप बहुत लोगों के लिए रोल मॉडल हो, तो मैं आपसे ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि आपका रोल मॉडल कौन है? Who has been your biggest inspiration?
Oh, that's very interesting.
And whom do you attribute your success to?
Thank you so much for this opportunity. And so my role model, my life's inspiration has been my grandfather, Dr. Dharamveer Singh Chouhan. And unfortunately, he just recently expired on 20th of Feb. And, we have recently completed the ceremonial duties as well. That's why, I have a shaved head as well. And I really learned a lot from him. He was a very calm risk taker, and he really taught me. He came from a very small village, very small village. Even if I visited today, it's very, the conditions can be very improved. The water supply is an issue over there even today, and it's around 60 kilometers from Jodhpur, called as Peoplely. And just like that, he took on the biggest of challenges. He pioneered real estate in the western parts of Rajasthan, built the first budget hotel, and retired in the year 1992. We still have that. He did a lot of his stuff, but then he wasn't really that aggressive about building wealth. And I have, if you guys follow me on my own channel, I was very lucky to record a very great interview with him of last year. He was battling cancer and didn't mention a thing about it, kept inspiring me till the last moment. And he was a man of very high progress. And he asked me a simple question when I was in second year that, hey, what is everyone looking for? And I answered him that, that's such job lenge college say. And so he asked me that, if guys like you from IIT will also look for jobs, then just want to understand that, who will create jobs? And very profound question. And, since that day, I decided that, I'll try my best to do my part. And that really opened up a lot of my own creative endeavors, discovering myself, etc. So yeah, my life's inspiration is my grandfather, and he'll always be my inspiration.
That's really amazing, sir.
So coming to the next question, that what is the key to become a good entrepreneur? What challenges did you have to overcome at the beginning of your journey? And how do we tackle failure? Because majority of us, we face the failure or we fear it, the start of failure. So how would you, what's your advice over this thing?
Just like what are the challenges to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah. And how to be a good entrepreneur?
Yeah, I think it's a learning exercise, and I would just suggest that don't overthink it. And the word itself, I know that we would have all spelled it wrong the first time we heard it. And so just like that, I think if you want to do something, just take it like a life lesson. You might want to be an artist, and that's entrepreneurship for me. Just taking control of your life rather than being flown in the direction whichever comes your way. Hey, achhi call, achhi job, let's go for science, maths, let's go for IIT. Sooner or later, you got to take control of your life if you really want to be happy and explorative. Because at the end of the day, I think as the purpose of life, there's a lot of exploration of discovering, what it really means to be yourself. You are all very unique expressions of universe. So we must do justice to, whatever has happened before us in the form that we are. So just, try your best. I'll just say that just want to do something, just don't be somebody who doesn't want to do something, just. And other than, I think, you can do a job in a company that is doing something very purposeful, mission driven. You connect with the team, and that will be great as well. And trust yourself, have faith in yourself. Feel free to reach out to anybody who you think for. Listen to everyone. Do what your gut says in the end, and you learn things along the way. There's nothing that will stop you. Just go forward.
And so how did you tackle the failures which you faced? How did you motivate yourself?
Yeah, I just failed. I just failed, so I didn't travel. जब भी fail हो जाता था, so I traveled to a different place. And I think I'm obviously, I think when you try to understand, there might be some things in DNA, in, the early environment, neocortex development. But what works really personally for me, which I think when something works for you, you largely think that it works for everyone. So I really think that, if you travel around, you change your environment and you just, build your identity from ground zero. You give yourself a chance to look back. You give yourself a chance to heal. And if you're really optimistic, and so I'm that person, so I always come back. And I think, failures, you sooner or later you learn that it's just fail so much that you become shameless about failing, and something will hit. It's I think
That's really inspiring, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, so Zostel is the #1 chain for hostels. And like India में कहीं भी जा रहे हो तो Zostel हमें हर city में मिल ही जाएगा. It is one of the world's largest backpacker hostel chain, which makes it unique. और दुनिया में इतनी बड़ी hostel chain कोई नहीं है जितनी Zostel की है. And हर जगह जहाँ पर Zostel है अपनी उसकी अलग कहानी है. सर तो इसके पीछे का आपका विजन क्या था? मतलब what made you think of having a backpacker community? Because ये कुछ ज़्यादा ही unique है सर.
No, I wrote about this in my Why Hostel blog in 2013. There were 0 backpacker hostels in the country. Today, we are the world's largest. And in a country which had none, so it's so what, first of all, it shows that globally it's a unorganized sector. So if we are the biggest brand and if we were nothing 8 years back, the first thing to understand is that, it's a very unorganized market and still very early. We might think, yeah, yaar, Europe में पहले से था, but I think अभी भी और potential है सब जगह दुनिया में फैलने का hostels का. Secondly, when I traveled to Europe, it was an epiphany for me. It was very unique, So I come from Rajasthan, so I've seen hospitality industry. I've seen budget hotels in my family, and those things that you see every day, they don't excite you. But staying in a backpacker hostel, the community that I met, I had just shut down my startup. So when I went to Germany, I somehow hustled in my 3rd year in IIT BHU, and I ended up in Germany over there. And while I was there, I did my internship, but I traveled to different countries. And that's when I ended up at backpacker hostels. And I realized that, boss, this is such a, great way to meet new people, because while you're traveling, you want to meet new people. And if you're in a hotel, you can't really go and talk with people, they'll call security on you.
Yeah.
and you can't talk with people on the streets, so I wanted this thing to exist, and I just, picked up things that were so challenging that, people would say it's impossible. So I'm very lazy, I don't get motivated to work hard a lot, so if somebody tells me, and if logically it just comes down to that it's impossible, the probability of success is less than 1%, then it's very exciting for me, and then I try to grind it out just to check how the universe works, somehow think as well that, hey, it's so less probable, but can we make it a reality? And, so that happened. And personally, I really loved it. Then I did a lot of research from my third year in BHU. I was very lucky. I joined IIM Calcutta straight ahead. So almost till end of first year for 2 years, I studied a lot to understand that why there are no backpacker hostels in the country. It's not like I just opened up just like that. And for 2 years, I did a lot of research, everything, and I couldn't logically conclude, anything that was CUNY. And I had to try it out. I built the first one in Jodhpur itself, and obviously, rest largely known history, today, and maybe it will be even more known in the future. But yeah.
Sir, I have personally been to Zostel, Jodhpur, and it's literally amazing. And I'm pretty
nice to hear that, bro. Very nice
to meet you right now.
It's great to know that today a lot of you guys from colleges can do your trips, and especially the ladies, the females, they can travel, because earlier the girls permission nahi milta tha, ki kahin jana hai, explore karna hai. So when you don't even travel, how will you, my whole idea is that unless you travel, you can't broaden your horizon. Kuएं ke mendak wali baat hai. It's not fair that you think that you can really win the world. In reality, you can. In reality, what I learned from my grandfather is that you can be at one place, and if you really meditate, you can probably understand how the world works. But because we are very smart, it's very easy to have an imposter syndrome. To think that, yeah, boss, how can I build a company that's so large when I don't even have, if I have not even traveled to Europe and backpack, how can I create the best backpacker hostel? And it's very difficult to answer that to yourself. Nahi, internet se samajh jayenge. So unless you do that, it's very difficult. And I needed to do it. So I did travel once again in my second year of my business school. But any questions from the YouTube Janta? I'll just open.
Yes, sir. We are taking the questions from YouTube.
Also.
You're taking?
These are quite, like, we are getting a good response.
Okay. Carry on.
You have motivated a lot of us, like we IIT BHUians, we really follow you. And you being like,
great.
you're
no, let's do great things. Let's do cool things. I don't know, matlab, ki how many of you guys are really grinding it out and really want to, build on the edge. But trust me, when I was in second year, I was trying my best to hustle around. And I know that, even if there are 20 people who are today motivated from IIT BHU who just want to learn things, everything can be learned from the internet as well. There's nothing that you can't learn. It's just that you should have that intrinsic desire, and we can do really, really amazing things. If you are able to really break the shackles, and do our NFT sales pretty well, it would be unheard of, not just in the travel ecosystem, the Indian startup ecosystem, and everywhere else. And if we can do it together, we can obviously, each of you have your own art and your own contribution. So the ideas will come, once you understand how the world works, how things are shaping up. I'm very sure that each of you will be able to utilize the technological aspects for your own desires, your own ambitions and goals. But it will be a grind, and let's see. Hopefully, a lot of you guys will be. I'm seeing a lot of you guys have joined the Discord, so that's very nice. And just introduce yourself, hang around, try to understand. Are you guys usually these days on Discord? It's just largely for the gaming community, or it's become common?
So we are active on Discord for a lot of other
everyone's active, so that's very nice.
Yeah.
So your college batches like ceramic, or let's say everyone has.
We have all those groups.
Many clubs are there on Discord itself. So
a lot of activities are held on Discord.
So that's what I was earlier getting at as well. Because you guys are remote, and you guys have learned these tools. What is really happening is that even the best companies are just using these tools. So you are basically very equipped. If you just do that transition and try to use it for building things, it will be super empowering. And many times people think that Reddit's there, but even Reddit's now a step behind. Discord and Twitter is on the edge rather than Telegram. These things move very fast. So that's there.
And so we have one more question from YouTube. Our students have asked that
Please.
could you please share your insights on how Zoworld will add value in Zostel in future? And like, we really like your vision of Zoworld. So what is basically your future aspect over that and your vision?
And
Right.
I have one
So
more
I
point
think,
to add in this.
Zoworld can really help, build, if we are able to, we want to build Zostels around the world, right? So,
Yes, sir.
giving franchisees outside India, and as well as raising capital, let's say, we want to build a big hostel, let's say that costs $5 million. Once we have Zoworld established, we have, built this sort of an ecosystem. I think we can very well, push to create even larger hostels. We can have our own large capital deployments, and there's sort of this club lifestyle thing that really happens. We can even, if you're able to raise enough capital, we might be able to buy the IP of Zostel and open source it for the community to build hostels all around the world. And but largely, I would suggest that there can be various different ideas. What is very essential is to build the step one. The step one is to give Zoworld its own foot, its own identity, its own first layer of community. With the NFT sales, established. So Zostel is already there in India and travel, right? Where Zoworld is coming into picture is global and Web3. So if we are able to have our foot in the door in the global and Web3 community, when we then mix it back with India and travel community, we can much more, invite the whole world to come to India and, make it gamified, make it exploratory, have real world quests, etc. So we are coming from the side that the best metaverse is the universe that exists, and we can have characters over here, we can have hosts over here who can, really help a lot of other people to travel around and explore different cultures. So it's a grand vision, and we are very early stage, but we have to narrow down like Arjun ki chidiya ki aankh, that we have to just first nail the NFT sales, and if that is done, a lot of things will change. The people who reach out to us, the people who try to understand what we are doing, the number of people who are trying to keep an eye on what we are trying to do, the kind of talent that we'll be able to attract. So I do understand that you guys have a huge amount of respect for me, and we had a great conversation. You guys are joining in, but we, at the end of the day, it's the talent that we should be able to attract. So where I come from is that I want a person like me who was super ambitious in my undergrad college, that I didn't even want to take any job. But if I had someone that I would work for free, was even back then was Elon Musk, and probably even today it will be there. So I've been following the guy since ages. So when we want to take us is that we should be the best place to work. For all of you guys while you are graduating. Hopefully we should be able to make it financially the best as well, but purely from a learning and growth perspective, regardless of your field. Please understand that when we try to think something large, regardless if you're a sound producer, you want to be an illustrator, you want to be a travel host, you want to be a technical software, front end, back end, machine learning, whatever you want to be, a blockchain developer, we want to have best opportunities for everyone. And so, if you have that, then we can really position to really fight. When we have the talent, then we can say that, yeah, boss, Facebook ke metaverse se acha, we'll make Zoworld ka metaverse.
Bilkul, sir.
But so the first step is ki, you guys also have even more respect. Yeah, that if somebody can sell, NFTs in today's time from India, it's a big thing. So I think, yeah, it will be good news.
So your vision for Zoworld is quite intriguing. Like, even we are very fascinated about this, and we have already followed you everywhere and all those things. So it intrigues us, and our vision is always over your thing. Like, it intrigues us.
No, we'll work it out, and we'll definitely
sir.
build global communities.
Definitely.
Whatever is your crypto community, in the college, please introduce them to me. We'll love to have a
We have already,
sort of a
like,
So we
Zoworld.
already have participants from that community in the.
Yeah. Guys,
Yeah.
please introduce that. Zoworld would love to work with the crypto community of BHU. Like I said, that I have IIT BHU.eth, right? And
Yeah.
I would love to make sure that all IIT BHU alums and students can have their own Ethereum addresses for free. So we should be able to give each other tokens or NFTs or Ethereum. Let's say, however, we'll figure it out, the roll numbers, etc. But I will love to give it to you guys. So, and then we will, bully IIT Bombay and other
Absolutely.
colleges.
That's great. Thank you so much,
That
sir.
sounds fun.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
So, sir, how do you think that crypto and blockchain technology will mold businesses in the future? Like keeping in mind 30% tax charged by the government.
Yeah. So is this a YouTube question or is this
Yes,
your
sir.
personal?
Yeah, it's a YouTube question.
Oh, nice. And very interesting. I'll stay here till the questions end. So first of all, government has barely just recognized. Let's say I'll tell you how the Zoworld is set up. So Zoworld is a US based entity. So we are Zoworld Incorporated. Then we have two entities. One in Cayman Islands and one in Saint Vermin, Germain Islands. These are the ones that issue crypto. So over there, issuing crypto is 0% tax. So we have tax exemption for lifetime. And then there is a service entity in India that pays us all salaries. So it's really not about the taxes, it's about the technology. So these all taxes can be always worked out. And now coming to the technological aspects, we don't understand. So while there was the first browser and internet that came up, it was very difficult to somebody to predict that tomorrow we'll call cabs from a click of a button in your hand. So that's how technologies evolve. So we must understand that blockchain and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are at that level that it's very difficult to understand that how or what will be their final form for humanity. But if you look at the crux layer, so जैसे कोई भी technology आती है, whatever technology comes into picture, so you can always continue to build on the existing technologies. Okay, let's say Web 2 may you only use Web 2, but using Web 3, maybe you can do something interesting, but it's more difficult. Let's say you build a social network tomorrow, that has Lightning Network integrated, which basically means that, if anybody wants to transfer anybody, even a microcent, even a microcent of money anywhere, it can happen at a fraction of a second and free. So how does it really then shape up the future? Today you can build websites and it's still broken, you can't, but if let's say everybody recharges their internet, so basically I think I'm very excited about the fact that what will happen when everybody has even 10 rupees of Bitcoin. If everybody has 10 rupees of Bitcoin, that basically means that I can build a website that says that jitna scroll karoge na, it will charge in paisa, let's say 1 paisa per minute time spent, up to maximum 1 rupees. And so that basically means that as a creator, today I have my own following on Instagram, YouTube, etc. And then I bring them to my own platform. I try to monetize. See, at the end of the day, I want to earn money. I want to earn money. I want to, become a sovereign individual, become independently, financially, and then financial independence is at the core of a lot of how humanity works. So that's why I talked a lot about capitalism in the beginning as well. And so just like that, if you're able to do that, if somebody is able to do that, there'll be a lot of new creators that will come up. They'll make very interesting applications, and very difficult to think how it will go. It will go across industries. Let's say now nobody says that I work on internet. Like 12 years back, or let's say at least 15 years back, if anybody was working on an internet, they would tell you that they're working on internet. It wasn't like we work in travel, we work on internet. If somebody is working in B2B marketplace, they are working on internet. So everybody is working on internet. It's like that, right? And once cryptocurrencies more dissipate, so it's a big thing that India has legally recognized, not just cryptocurrencies, but all digital assets. And they've included the term NFTs as well. So just that recognition is the first step. And please understand that regulations and law, they come at a later stage, when the technology has matured to understand how to really, do it with it, to, work with it. Let's say the first Indian telecom law that, it became illegal to really call someone and bully someone came in 2004, and our email act, etc. So it probably 10 years later, when Uber and, Swiggy were over there, let's say over the last 10 years, the labor laws weren't really worked out, in the sense that what happens to their PF, whose payroll are they, should they be allowed, some hustles are there. But now, gradually we have accepted them in the society that they are new jobs and we want to recognize them and things are happening. So, if you really are a builder and you want to build, you can't wait for regulation to be 100%, defined for you. They are largely defined by the industry players. The industry players, themselves go to the government and tell them that, boss, this should be the law, which is fair for everyone. This is how much tax you will make. This is how it will continue to, be in line with our nation's principles, and things like that. So if you really want to build something, be on the right side. Don't do things that are illegal and scams. So these are very basic things. If you're not doing that, if you're being accountable, if you're paying your taxes, so if you make money, pay your taxes. It's as simple as that. And so yeah, I'll probably conclude with that. And I think very difficult to understand how it will impact all industries, but it's an early stage. 10 years down the line, it will be everywhere, as I said.
So thank you so much for addressing all the questions. Now, in your presence and without any further delay, we would like to launch the much awaited theme for Technex 2022. So
Good luck.
Can we proceed?
Yeah, please, let's proceed.
Yes, sir. So it's time to launch the theme, which is much awaited, and I'm sure that you all are very excited. So now I'll play the theme video. Just give me some time. Yeah. So now I'm presenting the theme video. I hope that you all are very excited. So
very nice. Nice.
The theme for Technex 2022 is simulating reality. Join us to this technological extravaganza, which awaits to create a mesmerizing virtual world that you will never ever fail to remember. I'm sure that you all are extremely excited after listening to the theme. Now, what's there in the theme? Like, we'll go with the description of the theme, that what exactly the theme is.
So what do we mean by simulating reality, and which is the theme of Technex 2022? So while we try to achieve the new normal and pine for the physical world, we often end up mimicking a pre-pandemic reality, the reality before COVID times, and thereby creating virtual personas. To amuse your virtual avatars and to exercise your graces, Technex 2022 is back with a bang. What otherwise would have been a gripping and physically exhausting technical fest, Technex 2022 shall simulate the reality. So how was the theme, guys? All the participants in the chat box. Wasn't it fascinating? We hope the theme.
What are your views about the themes? Sir, you are on mute.
Sir, up mute though.
Yeah. So theme is what? Like, you guys are simulating reality. That's the theme, right? But like, what is practically? Practically, what will happen? Like, it sounds nice. From a marketing
we have talked about that pre-pandemic, we were like physically we'll meet people, but now we are like in this era and in the COVID times, we have tried to inculcate in our Technex as well.
Got it. So, interesting. So will there be like some funny ones, like a metaverse or like a VR event?
Those are surprise events actually.
Okay. So we'll be super excited.
And audience, please type your views in the chat box. We love to hear your reviews for the theme. And so we are
let's get a lot of subscribers to our YouTube as well. So
yeah, definitely.
I'm subscribed to you guys now.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
No, wish you guys good.
So this was all about the theme. I would request all the viewers to type your reviews about the theme and how are you feeling about the theme. So we have launched the theme. There is one more surprise awaiting for all of you. The merchandise launch.
Yeah, so every year we desperately wait for the merchandise of Technex, and we are back with the most awaited merchandise. So yeah, if you could present the screen.
Yeah, I'm showing you the merchandise of this year. And this is.
I love the video as well. The video was very well edited, the team that did it, and probably After Effects. So nice work over there as well.
Thank you so much, sir. Is my screen getting shared?
Yes. Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, so this is the first t-shirt, and the merchandise designs are very
Ritika, could
fascinating.
you open the file again? It's not visible.
Is it visible or not? Okay, 1 second. Is it visible now?
It's not actually.